If you guys want coins for FC24, make sure you check out MMOEXP.com. Their link is down in the description. They're very fast, they're very cheap, they're very reliable, and if you use my code Rema, you can get yourself a lovely 5% discount. So what's up guys, it's Ash here and welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. Sorry for the no upload yesterday. I decided not to play at all yesterday and I didn't want to make a video. You know, that whole thing with the messy stuff really just put me off playing, to be honest with you. And it's not just that, honestly, that was just like the that was the topping of it all, really. Yeah, this game, man, it's just not good for you, to be honest with you. It's not a fun game to play a lot of the time. It's not very rewarding, and the company behind it are the biggest, like, bunch of scumbags you can possibly imagine. So sorry to start the video off with waffling, but I just wanted to be honest with you guys. Like, I packed this team of the year CR7, and to be honest with you, I'm not even that happy about it anymore. Like, you know, it's good that we got CR7, don't get me wrong, I'm not ungrateful for having that card, but in previous years I'd be absolutely buzzing. But in this game, realistically, what am I going to do? Just cut back with him, score a tap in, you know? Like, you know, what's the point, man? Like, the gameplay's garbage, the pack weight for the majority of people's been garbage. EA have constantly screwed up, you know, they've given half the community a team of the year Messi and then left the other half without it. You know, it's just things like that, man. It just puts you off the game. So yeah, I did take a break. Sorry for the long waffling intro. I just thought I wanted to get that off my chest. But yeah, this game, man, honestly, if I didn't have a YouTube channel, I didn't have you guys, I probably wouldn't bother playing at all. But yeah, I'm going to leave like a little chapter mark so you guys can skip this part of the video. But yeah, we've got some 422 custom tactics and instructions that I've just been messing around with. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's get right into it. Alright then guys, so starting off with the tactics today, the defensive style, as always, I have this on balance. Now, I always have balance because I find it to be the most like controlled in defense. So if I want to press my opponent, I can, and then if I want to then drop off and maybe be a little bit more passive in my approach, I can also do that. So balance is the way to go for me. You guys might prefer something else, does not really matter. Moving on to the defensive width, guys, I just have this on 40. This is so we can be primarily narrow and compact in our defense. We don't want our opponents just be able to run right through the middle of us, but it's important that we don't lower this width too much because we still need to be able to cover the wider areas in case an opponent goes down the wing, which, let's be honest, guys, that is what 90% of this game is, just attack down the wing and cut back. So we want to have that balance where we can block out the middle and also the wing. Now, moving on to the depth, guys, there are a few different options you can use with the depth. One of the most popular ones is obviously the 71 depth thing. When you use 71 depth, you know, you get that automatic press from the AI. It's very strong, very overpowered, and very difficult to play through. So some of you guys might like that, but me personally, I don't really like that automatic press. I prefer to do it as much as possible by myself. So I prefer something like 60 where we still have that high defensive line, but we have a bit more control over when we press our opponent. If this is still too high for you guys, you can lower it even more. That is absolutely fine. Just find a depth that you are comfortable with yourself. Moving on to the build-up play, guys, I have this on balance because I find it to be the most varied and the most fluid way to build up, to be honest with you. The thing with balance is you can basically pick and choose the type of build-up you use and when you use it. So, for example, you could start off building up slowly and then you can decide to play a bit faster. You can really just use whatever you want whenever you want, which is why I do suggest it. For the chance creation, guys, we have this on direct passing, the most meta option by far. When you use direct passing, guys, your attackers will commit these runs. The defender will follow the attacker that's made the run, and then the attacker will track back once the defender has overcommitted, so you can cut back to them, is what I was on about in the intro of this video, where I was saying that's primarily what you use the cards for, so it doesn't really matter who you use. But yeah, that's the meta of this game, direct passing. Moving on to the attacking width, guys, 55. I would like to use a more narrow width, but you guys know this game, you can only really attack down the wing a lot of the time, so yeah, you have to have a bit of width in your attack. 55 means I primarily can go down the wing, but I can still sometimes go through the middle, very occasionally if I would like to. Moving on to the players in the box, guys, I have this on 6 at the moment. This is so we can get a few players into the box, of course, but we don't overcommit the entire team. For the corners and the free kicks, guys, you can do whatever you want with this, but I just have them both on 2. Moving on to the player instructions, guys. On the strikers, we have them on stay central, getting behind and come back on defense. Yeah, I know it sounds really boring, but that is FC 24 for you. So stay central, very important, because you don't want these players drifting out wide too much. You know, we want them to stay in the middle. We want them to be relied upon. So we primarily want them in those middle positions. We also have them on getting behind, so we can utilize their pace to get in behind those high defensive lines which people use with the 71 depth and stuff. So this does give us as many chances as possible. And then we actually have them on comeback on defense, because it just keeps them closer to the rest of the team when we don't have the ball, meaning when you win the ball back, it's actually just a bit easier to build up because your team's closer together and it's easier to link up the play. So I know it seems really bad, but honestly it works. So what can you say? If you don't want both of these strikers on like getting behind, you can switch one of them or both of them to mixed attack. It's just whatever you want to use, to be honest with you guys. Moving on to the cams, guys, the wide cams, we have them on comeback on defense and get into the box for cross. Comeback on defense is pretty important because it will make it defend in a 4-man midfield. So these cams on the comeback on defense instruction will come back to defend as a right mid and a left mid in the 4-4-2 shape. This makes us really nice and defensively sound because we can block out those attacks through the middle and down the wing, because there is no space through the middle with the 2 centre mids and no space down the wing with the right mid and the left mid. It also makes it easier to build up when we win the ball back because, like I said, with the strikers, makes your team closer together and easier to link up the play. We also have these players on get into the box for cross, so they're not hesitant in getting into the penalty area, which is really useful, guys. Moving on to the left CDM, guys, I use a more defensive-minded CDM type defensive player, so we have them on stay back, cut passing lanes and cover centre. Stay back, obviously, we don't want him flying forward if he is a more defensive-minded player. Cut passing lanes, so he always looks to intercept those passes, break up the play and regain possession for us, and then cover centre, so he primarily covers the central areas, as we don't need him to cover the wing, as we've got the right cam and the left cam coming back to defend to cover those spaces on the wing. Now for the right CDM, guys, I use a more box-to-box style player, somebody that will attack and defend, so we leave them on the default settings as we don't want to restrict them to doing one thing. We kind of just want to let them do whatever they want. The only important thing is cover centre, so that they primarily cover that central area as opposed to the wing, as we just discussed. Moving on to the fullbacks, guys, whichever one is your most attacking one, does not matter which one. It could be a left back, could be a right back. In my case, it is the left back. Put them on balanced overlap. Now this is useful because the 4-2-2, although we have got a higher width, is still quite a narrow formation. So overlap's really useful because it stretches out the opponent's defense, gives you a wider angle, wider option even, and it just makes it easier to attack because, you know, having that overlapping fullback actually stretches out the opposition's defensive line for more, so there is more space for your narrow players to get through the middle as well. So it's really good all round, and I do very much recommend it. Moving on to the other fullback, guys, in my case the right back, the more defensive one, I have them on stay back and overlap. This is so we always have at least 3 defenders back at a time, but when we send them on the run forward, they'll make the overlapping runs the same way the other fullback would. For the 2 centre backs, guys, we leave them alone, and then the keeper, I also leave them alone, but you can pop them on comes for crosses and sweep a keeper if you would like. But yeah, guys, they're my tactics and instructions. Sorry if this video seemed like more of a rant at parts, but honestly, guys, I just had to get things off my chest about this game because it is honestly draining, you know. If some of you feel bad playing it, imagine how some people feel recording it, you know. I don't mean to sound all negative, you know, it's not all bad. I like talking to you guys and everything. I do have the occasional enjoyment, but it's just tough, man. It's really stressful, and yeah, I kind of feel like I need a break sometimes. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please be sure to drop a like, sub to the channel if you are new, and don't forget to turn on notifications. And with all that aside, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out, guys.